Welcome to the APW Repair Center. Today we are going to be diagnosing and repairing common low pressure problems. When confronted with pressure loss, most people assume that the problem lies with the pump. However, most of the time the pump is not the problem and the pressure is being lost through leaks or clogs or even a combination of the two. We will be addressing individual parts in different sections of the video, starting at the tip of the wand, then working our way back towards the pump, and from the pump to the spigot to determine where the problem lies. A common low pressure occurrence is a clogged orifice inside your nozzle. If the wand you are using is a variable wand, you will want to determine if it is clogged by checking for flow in the low and high pressure positions. The low pressure position is for soap application only and is not made for cleaning. Water will usually still flow in the low pressure position if clogged, so you need to check it in the high pressure position to see if you have good flow. If you have little or no water flow, then your orifice is likely clogged with debris. Many pressure washers come with a tip cleaner, but if you don't have one, you can use something like an unfolded paper clip to clear the orifice. Or you can purchase a proper tip maintenance kit from our website in the links below. If you are using a wand with quick connect tips, then you'll need to see if you have proper water flow coming out of the orifice. If you have little to no water flow or an uneven spray pattern, then you have a clogged tip and need to disconnect the tip to push the debris out of the orifice. If you have good water flow but are leaking from the quick connect, then you probably have a bad O-ring. The O-ring prevents water from going around the tip of your quick connect and directs the flow towards the tip to provide adequate pressure. Check inside your quick connect fitting to see if your O-ring is damaged or missing and replace it with a new 1/4 inch O-ring. A dental pick or something similar may be needed to remove the O-ring from the groove holding it in place. If the connection to the wand and gun is leaking, then it may be that it is not tight enough, or you just may have a bad O-ring. Try tightening the connection by hand to see if that stops the leak. If the leak persists, then you have a bad O-ring. Disconnect the wand from the gun and remove the O-ring from the tip of the gun and replace it with a new 14mm O-ring. A dental pick may be needed for the removal of the damaged O-ring. After installing the new O-ring, reassemble the gun and wand, then test it to make sure the leak has stopped. Now we will move on to the high pressure hose connecting the gun to the pump. If the hose is leaking from either the gun or the pump connection, then it is not connected properly or has a damaged O-ring. First, try tightening the connections to see if that stops the leak. If the leak has not stopped, then your hose has a damaged O-ring and you need to replace it with a 14 or 15mm O-ring depending on your gun and pump connections. A dental pick may be needed for the removal of the damaged O-ring. Once the new O-ring is installed, reconnect the hose to the gun and pump, then test for leaks. Another common cause for low pressure can simply be water restriction by a clogged filter between the garden hose and pressure washer pump, or even inadequate flow from your water source. Remove the garden hose from your pump and inspect the filter for clogging debris, and clean it out if you see any. If your pump doesn't have a filter to prevent debris from getting inside, then it is possible that it is clogged internally and you may need to talk with our techs to resolve this issue. To determine if you have adequate water flow, you can fill a 5-gallon bucket from your water source for 1 minute, and if your bucket is 3/4 full, then you have adequate water flow. Average outdoor spigots have a flow of 4.5 gallons per minute, and the average pressure washer uses 3 gallons per minute. So as long as the bucket fills 3/4 of the way in 1 minute, you will be alright. One last thing that we're going to look at are the settings on your engine. Is your choke set to the run position after starting? Because if it's running on choke, then your pump shaft isn't spinning fast enough to create pressure. The same goes for the throttle lever. If the throttle lever isn't turned all the way up, then you lose RPMs in the pump shaft. The last thing to look at is the fuel shutoff valve. Is it fully turned to the on position? It is possible that it can be in between the on and off position, which will choke off the amount of fuel your engine needs to operate the pump properly. Also, if you recently installed a new pump, it is possible that the shaft key wasn't installed correctly and is not engaging the pump. If the hose is not jumping when engaging the trigger gun, like shown in the video, then that could be an indicator that the shaft key is not installed correctly to spin the pump shaft. Remove the pump and check out our videos on how to install a vertical or horizontal pump to your pressure washer, depending on your model. That's it for today at the APW Repair Center. Join us for future repair videos, and as always, enjoy clean times.